Well, Senator Blackburn, I have been looking forward to this for quite a while now. Tyler had spoken to me yesterday about getting this set up, so it's great to speak with you. So tell me how things are going in DC.
Well, things are really busy. Right now, I am on the move, leaving the Capitol and going to a Veterans Affairs Committee. Yeah. And we're doing a lot of work to make certain that community care is put in place for our veterans. Also, we're fighting to stop the Democrats who continue to federalize our not about infrastructure. So those are the things that we're putting our attention on.
Absolutely. So give me your opinion on the gubernatorial races that are happening in Virginia and also in New Jersey.
Yes, you know, I think what you can say about the races that took place for those governorships, and indeed what you can say about races that took place all across the country, whether it was some of these mayoral races or General Assembly races, is that parents showed up and parents said, you are not going to force CRT on our children. You're not going to force mask mandates on them. You are not going to give the teachers authority to do whatever they want. We, the parents, are going to weigh in on this. And I think also what you saw was our city and in Minneapolis and out in Seattle. People are tired of this. They're exhausted with a lack of respect for law enforcement, for the Constitution, for the rule of law, for all of our structures. And they have said, enough is enough.
So a lot of Tennesseans are concerned about inflation. So let's talk about that for a second.
Yes, you know, we are seeing inflation like we haven't seen in nearly 4 decades. And what is happening at the gas pump, in the grocery store, all has to do with Joe Biden and his policies. He did this, he caused this, and killing the Keystone Pipeline, limiting our energy supplies. You know, as of the first of the year, when Trump was president, we were a net exporter of energy. And now Joe Biden's out there begging OPEC to sell us some fuel so that we have transportation fuel, so that we have home heating fuels. And then you see this also in groceries. Some of this is caused by the supply chain, and other is the packaging, that some of the polymers and plastics that are used for packaging for food that you just can't get. And of course, as long as the Longshoremen's Union and some of these groups continue to say, we're going to work fewer hours and we can't get these ships unloaded, you're going to continue to have these supply chain problems.
So something that goes right along with inflation, the Biden administration has talked about paying out $450,000, I believe. I don't know if it's to individual immigrants or immigrant families. So talk about
it. Per individual, yes. What we have learned is that what they're seeking to do is pay $450,000 per individual for parent and children that were separated at the border. Now, bear in mind, these individuals, adults, were separated from children because they could not prove that that was their child. And this was to protect children from being trafficked. So they had to submit to a DNA test. Now, about 20% of the children ended up being not related to the individual that they were with.
Wow.
And so now the Biden administration is responding to a lawsuit from the ACLU. And what they're seeking to do is to pay $450,000 per individual. So if it were male, female, and 2 children, that would be $2 million.
Oh, wow. That's crazy to me. So let's talk about vaccine mandates, because I feel like that comes right along with inflation and immigrants coming across the border. So talk about that for a second as well.
Sure, absolutely. This business of putting a vaccine mandate, especially on our essential workers, people that showed up and worked every day during the vaccine, first responders, law enforcement, people that are in the media, people that are in healthcare, people that kept the country running and the information flowing and planes flying and trucks driving. Now they're going to say, Joe Biden is basically saying, we're going to get you fired. And so I have a bill that would exempt all essential workers, people that were deemed essential, showed up and worked during the pandemic. It would exempt them from the vaccine mandate because they figured out how to take care of themselves. Many of these people have had COVID and they don't want to get the vaccine, or they have family members that have had adverse reactions to the vaccine. And so they're saying, hey, wait a minute, give me some options here. Let me take a test periodically, but don't force me to get the vaccine. And, I'm grateful we have a vaccine. I certainly have had the vaccine, but I think it should be an individual choice and a decision made with their physician. And it shouldn't be Joe Biden's decision to say, you got to get it or I'm going to get you fired.
Sure. So we know how important information is and being transparent with information. So let's talk about your podcast, because I've wanted to talk to you about your podcast for a while. So tell me about that.
Well, I'm on a federal interview and I can't talk about that right now. We'll do it another time.
Sure, that sounds great. Is there anything else you might want to talk about?
Listen, I hope everybody keeps up with me. You'll find me on social media at Marsha Blackburn, or our website, blackburn.senate.gov. And I've enjoyed being with you today. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you, Senator Blackburn. Hope to speak to you again soon.
Absolutely. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Well, bye.